Alright, so we have this bad boy in the building right here. This is the Meike 55mm f1.4 for the Fujifilm X mount. The first thing I noticed about this lens is the build. Just because it feels light and plasticky at some areas of the lens, and there are some parts that are made out of metal construction, which is the aperture ring. Another thing that this lens does have, which other third-party manufacturers don't have, for this focal length, is an AF/MF toggle switch right here, if you can see that, and as well as an aperture ring. So Fuji users, rejoice because you got your damn aperture ring. And another thing that we have here is a red rubber gasket seal on the back of the mount. The red, and then you also have the USB-C port at the back of the mount as well. I asked Meike if this lens was weather sealed because of the red rubber gasket, and they said no. However, they did say that the rubber gasket seal will help prevent any liquid from coming into the lens. However, the lens as a whole is not weather sealed, so rain does touch on the lens, it may not be the most ideal. So just be mindful of that. But again, like, you can't have it all in a $200 lens, unfortunately. Overall, a solid job by Meike with the build on this lens. This lens design really caught me off guard because I really like the way it's built and the way it looks. Now let's talk about the image quality. I've tested a few of the 56mm focal ranges from several brands already, and I'm quite surprised by the way this one performs at f1.4. On the X-T5, it performs very well, and I would say that it's the sharpest out of like the TT Artisans and the Viltrox that I've tried recently. And out of the three, this lens is the fastest lens coming in at f1.4. With an f1.4 comes a smoother background blur, aka bokeh, and I do notice the difference at f1.4 versus f1.7 and f1.8. Now at f1.4, it does a really good job at isolating the subject, and like I said, shooting it at f1.4, it's surprisingly sharp. However, shooting wide open, I did find it does lack some contrast, but it is to be expected coming from a budget lens. And now stopping this lens down to around f8 will give you the peak sharpness. Now this lens does suffer from some flaring, so you gotta be careful and mindful of where you're pointing that thing. But overall, I am really satisfied with this lens. With all these budget-friendly options out there, it's really making me wonder why I bought the XF 56mm f1.2. I feel like any of the lenses that I use, TT Artisans, the Viltrox, and now the Meike 56mm, they all can get the job done. They're much smaller, they're lighter, and it's easier to carry around. So yeah, I'm just wondering why I bought that lens while I can get something like the Meike. At $200, this Meike lens has an aperture ring, it has a rubber gasket seal, it has autofocusing, and it has good image quality at f1.4. Now this is great for the bokeh lovers out there and the low light shooters. It's great for portrait photographers. It's a good time to be a Fujifilm shooter with all these budget-friendly options out there. This lens is a solid performer if you ask me. Now, if you're interested in this lens, I'll leave the links down in the description below, and consider subscribing for more Fujifilm content. And thanks so much.